Hello everyone. Today we'll be painting this, and I have two products that I've used to do this, and I'm very excited to show that to you, and I'll let you know where to get it also. And I am working on a 12 by 16 canvas, very weird size. I found that at Walmart. I want to show you when I got it. Can you see how wobbly that is? You don't know until you open it. So what I did is I misted the back, and I dried it with a hair blower, and it brought it back to a tight canvas. Also, if you like my channel, please subscribe on the red button at the bottom. And we're going to start with creating that raw umber. So I have tangerine and black, and I'm going to mix the black with the tangerine and creating that dark brown. I might have to add more black to it. And I did like a big puddle because my canvas is bigger than my little 8x10. And you can mix it to the brown that you like, because the leaf is sitting in the puddle of water. That's why it's so it's brown like that. It's like dirty water, muddy water. So it's and it's floating on top of that puddle. That was a picture my son took. So, thanks, Kev. Merci, fiston. Okay, so it's kind of like a chocolate brown. It's just that sometimes we don't have the colors, so it's fun to know how to mix them. So I'm just going to take my, I think it's a 1/2 inch brush, and I'm going to start putting my base coat. And I'm going to put it thick, so that I don't have to do 2 coats. I might have to do a little touch up here and there. I'm trying not to do that. There's, when you see little, okay, take that out. I have some paints that are getting old. Some are like, oh my goodness, must be like 10, 15 years old. And some are just, they made these little different, like a thickness and maton. I don't know how to say that in English. So this one, it's gonna dry darker also. There's one here. That's my tangerine, I think, that had that, because the black didn't do that, and I used it yesterday. Okay. Doesn't matter in which way you're doing, up and down or sideways. It really doesn't matter. We just want a coverage. And it's covering pretty well. I'm going to try to do this a little bit faster. And then we're going to dry it. And then we're going to draw our leaf. The leaf is a birch leaf. And it's like, it's been sitting on that puddle of water. So it's like pretty deteriorated. So that's why it has all those brown spots and the cracks in it. And it's almost getting to the skeleton phase. I'm just putting it thick. At some places you're going to see my brush marks, but in the middle where the leaf is, it's not important that I see that. Just going to go to the bottom of my canvas. And what you might want to get ready is your next step. You can have a white pencil or even a white chalk to do this, a yellow chalk, something that you can draw your leaf. Because we need to draw it, because then we're going to use my special product that I love. Okay, we're almost done. Go to the bottom, bit on the side. You might want to do your sides. I'm not, because I'm going to reuse this canvas for my next painting. Here I am barely touching, so I'm hiding those brush strokes, especially up, because my leaf is going to be here. And it doesn't matter if it's not completely black. I don't even know what I was going to say. If it's not, like, because I'm mixing on the go, my brown might not be even. That's not a problem. It's just going to give dimension to your puddle of water, because you can see the different brown. Okay, here, like I said, the leaf is going to be there. Okay, so now I'm going to dry this. Okay, so now this is completely dry. So now we're going to draw our leaf. I think I'm going to try with this chalk to see if it's, if you can see it. Because I want to make sure that you see what I'm doing. And like, it's a very pitiful leaf, I could say. And it's going down here. And I might make this a little bit longer. See, what's fun about the chalk is that if I don't like it, I can always, go back and redraw it. Nothing stops me from doing that if I don't like my leaf, or if I don't find it big enough. And here I'm kind of gonna go like that, and I'm gonna get to a point. And I think I'm gonna play with this a little bit more. Make it rounder here. Okay, so this I can just erase. I'm gonna take my rag. I changed a rag that, instead of my rag of material, I took this instead. Okay, so now you get a better view of, yeah, that's gonna do. Okay, now here comes the fun part. This is Delta. You're gonna see it reversed because I'm using my front camera on myself. It's Delta Crackle Medium. What I like about this one is that it doesn't have to be dry to put the top coat. So once I'm done, doing it, I'll be ready to start putting my paint here. It just needs to be tacky. So the trick is not to put it too thick, or it's gonna make big cracks. Here, it made little cracks because I only put a little crackle medium. And this can be bought at Amazon. And I will try to put a link, or in the description I'll write it. And the price, that you gotta be careful. Some suppliers sell it like $25. And this is, I think, an $8 or $9 bottle. So be careful not to get caught that way. And I'm just gonna rinse the brush that I had before. Oh, actually, that crackle medium doesn't like water. So I'm just gonna take another brush. I have another one exactly the same, so no water. And what I want to do is prepare my yellow before I put the crackling medium. So I have 3 yellows. I'll show you the difference. Saffron yellow, gold, and crocus yellow. See the difference in the colors? One is a bit like bright. This is not so bright, and this is like a highlight one, a lighter one. So I'm going to use all 3 of them. And we're going to try to put our coat thick enough to not have to, like on the one I just did this morning, I didn't put my coat thick enough, because when you work with crackle medium, you cannot go over what you've just done. Because the crackle medium, what it does, it cracks and it lifts the paint. And the paint stays lifted until it's dry, then it kind of gets glued back down. So you want to be careful not to go over twice. And the thing is, with the crackle medium, with your brush, you need to put it in water, in the soapy water. So I've got an extra tub with soapy water. I want to get ready with another brush. Okay, well, this one here will do to put my coat on. So I'm just going to take all the excess water from my yellow. Try to wash it as good as I can. And get ready. So I have a brush for my yellow and I have a brush for my crackle medium. So first the crackle medium. And like my brush, I don't know if you can see, it has some in it, and it doesn't matter how you put it. And I want to go over my edge. I want to see my edge too, so it'll disappear with my yellow. And I'm just coming down. I'll show you what the canvas looks like once I'm done applying. And it's not too heavy, but enough to crack. I want to keep it on the small side. If ever you get big cracks, that's okay. There's a step that we do almost at the end, and it's gonna hide the darkness of the brown. Here I'm just following the little picks there of the leaf, the shape of the leaf. I'm keep on putting my my crackle. I might get big cracks because when you do it online like that, and it's might not be the same when I'm sitting on my table and just chilling and painting, and so I might have, but that's okay. Then I'll show you what to do. And here I just want to go to those little edges. Like I say, by the time I'm done doing the leaf here, I'll be able to start at the top, putting my color in. I have another project after this that I'm going to show you how we're going to do the reflection in the water. And the crackle medium, I use it when I do pine trees, because pine trees, there's so much cracks in it, and so much work. So instead of of using a lot of different colors, which I still do, but I don't need to do the cracks in the bark because the crackle medium will do it. I just use a little bit more than to get bigger cracks. Okay, so I'm gonna try to show you what this looks like. Do you see some places it's like that here? So now we're gonna go, put that back in the middle. I'm gonna go, my brush is in that soapy water. Now I'm gonna take my yellows and I'm loading all three yellows, a bit less of the light. And look, I've got lots, maybe that's a bit much. And I'm gonna start. Okay, this is gonna be, I might turn my canvas at some point. Okay. And I'm barely pressing because it's gonna start cracking. As soon as there's paint on it, it starts cracking. We're gonna see the most of it once it's dry. That's when it's the most cracks are gonna come out. I love this one. I've tried other cracking medium, and for me this is the one that works the best. Like I've got 2 or 3 here, and it doesn't compare to this one. This one is just awesome. I'm gonna try to do my points, and if I don't get to do my points, I will after. Oops. I see when I'm touching, it kind of takes the paint away. That's what you don't want to do. Okay, I'm going to move this a little bit so that I can go to the point here. And don't leave it there too long because it starts cracking. And go back on here right away. Like I left it there a bit too long. I'm trying not to get edges. And I'm not, as you see, I'm shaking a lot. That's because I'm not pressing very hard. And the bottom here, I want to get to the edge of my design. And it looks like blotchy, but that's okay because we're not done. And the leaf is like, it's old, you know? So it's okay if it's blotchy, and the more blotchy it is, to me, it's more beautiful because it's going to show more designs in it. It's going to show that it's old. You see, by the time I'm down here, you see it's already cracking. I'm going to show you in a minute. Oops, a big blob here. Yeah, so because the paint is floating, that's why you can't go back once you've set it down, because it gets lifted. Let's see if I can do this and this. Just almost done here, and it's cracking beautifully. That it makes your you know, putting the details in your leaves so much easier. Like, doesn't mean that I'm not gonna do any details after. I am, but it's making my life much easier. Okay. And I took a lot of yellow out, which I'm gonna use again. My leaf just got a bit bigger. Okay, do a little touch up here. A little touch up here. I'm just touching. It might not crack as much anymore. So this paint is a lot of yellow that I still have, but I'm gonna need it later. I want to show you. Do you see all the crackling happening? It's really cool. And wait till I dry it. It's going to crack even more. So now I'm going to dry this. Now I'm going to show you once it's dry. Look at all the cracks. And you'll see at the end I do a little wash and I tone down those cracks. I don't tone them down so we lose them. I just tone them down so they're not as prominent. Is that how you say that? I'm going to try to come closer here. Okay, so now what I want to do is take our brown that we did, and we're going to do the main stem here, the vein. I guess it ends up being a vein, and some of those veins, and that's pretty much it for the veins. Okay, I don't know how this is going to go, but I think I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to go light. I'm going to make it crooked. And I'm going to come up to there. Maybe this one I don't want it that crooked. So I'm going into my brown. This is just like, it's kind of the shadow. That's what it's going to end up being, the shadow of the vein. So maybe up here, I think I've got lots here. I want it a little bit darker. Well, I think my canvas is still a little bit wet. Be careful if your canvas is still a little bit wet, because the paint is lifted, right? If it's it floats. So if it's not completely dry, you put your hands on it, the paint's gonna move. So I'm gonna keep going with my brown and some water. I'm kind of making it inconsistency, so a lot of water in it. Now I want to start to make those, and I don't want to press too hard, because then we're gonna need to hide some of them. So I think you don't see that, so I'm gonna make it darker so that you can see it, because I think you're not gonna see it. So I'm gonna make my veins darker. And at the end here, I want to go lighter. Can you see that? Yes. Okay, that shows up beautifully. Okay. And then I'm going to come from this point again. And I'm going to come and see the veins are not straight. I'm just going to keep going here and come here. So it kind of goes where there's a point. It goes under a point. A little pick. Don't know how to call them. Okay, so now I'll have my hand in there. I'm going to turn my canvas this way so that I can have access to it. So I'm kind of guiding myself to the one I've just done. And now I want to make one like that. And it kind of goes down like this. You see all of that? Yes, okay. And now I'm going to come here. And I'm going to go down. I'm going to, I think I'm going to make, I don't know, maybe a darker brown. I'm going to go light. And here I'm going to split it up. Like that. And I'm going back in my mix. And I'm going about here. Now maybe 1.5 inches below the other one. And this one I'm going to come in here. So you're not going to see the bottom, so I'm going to make it a little darker so that you can see, because it's very hard to see on a video. Okay, and I'm going to make the stem here a little bit wider because it's a huge leaf compared to my little 8x10. I'm going to make it darker so that you can see it. And I'm going to slowly not go as wide. and barely nothing. Now we're gonna put a couple more here. And they're always going, as you see, I'm curving as I'm going down. Darker, I'm curving like that. And another one down here, and that one I'll split just because I feel like it. And look at that. So we've started the veins. I think I'm gonna make this one a little darker so that you can see. And I'm going to split that one too. Okay. So now it's easy. This side, the veins start almost at the same point. That's how a leaf is made. That's how that leaf was made anyways. So I'm going to start, do I start like this? So that way I can come here. You guys still see? So I'm going to come, and I'm going to come right over here, and I'm wobbly, which is perfect, and I'm going here, and I'm going to split it. More water. I'm dipping in water all the time, making it water consistency. And from here, there's a big one here. So I'm going to come down, and I'm going to give it a curve, and my curve's going to go down here. And now this one here can be a little bit lower, and it's coming down, and I can get it into points. You see what I mean when I say a point? There's two ends. Now this one here, also starting a little bit lower. And this one, maybe I don't see where it ends. That leaf is very old. You know, it's deteriorating a lot. And this one here, I'll make two little points. See, there's no perfection here. And a little one like that. Okay, and this is what it looks like. There's a few little maybe veins that I want to do here. Is very lightly press like that. It's about the only place that I did without, adding a little bit like that. Not very much. We don't want it too detailed. The crackling medium did a pretty good job for us. A little bit here. I don't think you even see what I did. Okay, so now I want to go and put back some of my yellows and that, but I don't want to lose my cracks yet. Okay, I don't want to tone them down yet. So I'm going back into my mix of the gold and the saffron, just those two. And I'm gonna come, and I'm just gonna go about. I'm gonna lose some cracks. That's because I'm seeing, it's very hard to hide the background because it's brown and we're crackling, and I might want to use more of the saffron yellow here. Nope, I'm gonna mix it with both. And I'm just going, and I'm going to these brown lines. I'm going to start to kind of hide them a bit, make them irregular instead of, they seem to be kind of perfectly shaped. And I prefer to have them not that well shaped. So I'm going to show you up close. What I'm doing is I'm going close to the vein, and I'm kind of, whoops, I went over it, kind of, wobbly, putting the vein a little bit skinnier, a little bit irregular, and I'm going to do that everywhere because I don't like having it so perfect. I like to have the veins less visible, but I made them dark so that you could see, or else you're not going to see what I'm doing. With my cell phone you're not, but once I get my camera that to do these films, then I'll be able to zoom in, so it won't matter the size of my canvas because I'm going to zoom in. So see, I'm just hiding a bit of the dark of the canvas, not losing my cracks. And I'm just keep going. And at the same time, I'm adding kind of another layer of color. Some area it might be more saffron, that medium yellow. And some area it might be more of the gold. And if you find there's too many cracks, then here you can hide some cracks, like this here. It's cracked a lot, so I'm going to start making them less visible. See, it doesn't take much. That's what you do when you get big cracks. You just go over it. And the same thing here with the middle vein. Also, I can make it more wobbly. So I'm kind of going all over the place, trying to hide. See, what happens is when you saw me, I had thick paint on it, but because it crackles, it moves the paint. So your paint doesn't stay at the same spot. And maybe some spots I did have less. And here, actually, I didn't put very much crackle. So this side is not crackled that much. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is maybe the way I'm going to cover it is not cover it too much. Go into my points here. I can recreate some points. And I do that everywhere. And I'm going to create my points. Actually, even if it's not that pointy, it really doesn't matter because it's deteriorating still. So this here, I'm going to leave that there because that I'm going to go do where you see through the leaf. So at some spots, they're going to stay dark. So so that's one, I know that I'm going to have a hole there. And I'm going to go fast so I don't stay in one spot and put too much. I'm going over some of the cracks because some are wide. I don't want them that wide. You might want to. Once you know how to work with this, you can, we don't have the same eye, so you might see something different than me. Your leaf is going to look totally different. We don't paint the same. We don't put the same pressure on our canvas. It's just another fun way to do something different. I've learned so much through painting, taking courses, and we learned to use a lot of products. Some I didn't even remember using, and it's just coming back to me. And as I'm trying to find ideas to paint, then these ideas are coming back. See, there's one here too. I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to try to hide it all. There's one there that I'm going to leave there also. I'm going to try to be closer. There's a circle there. So it's kind of, it's like almost like a map of where those brown spots are going to go. And here, the point is underwater. It's underwater, so I'm not going to go put anything there, any of the gold paint. And again, I'm going to, try to work my lines. And I'm just keep going. Because there's lots of cracks. Even if I hide a few, it won't matter. There's a lot of cracks. See this one here? I'm going to leave it like that. Oh, I love that. I love, love, love it. And this here, there's a little point that I would like to emphasize a little bit more. Yeah, just put my hand in the wet paint. Kind of hard when you want to, do something kind of specific where you're going to put your hand. And again, I'm going to come here, and I'm trying to not put too much paint, make this a little bit more wobbly. Even in some spots, you kind of not see it. Okay, here also. See, it's kind of coming together. Okay, here, a little bit big cracks here, hide them a little bit. Oh, there's a nice hole there. And at the same time that we're doing this, what we're doing is highlighting and creating a dimension in our leaf. So once I'm done this, I will dry it, and then we'll go on to the next step. I don't want to hide all the cracks here. It seems that this upper part I put less crackling medium here. Okay. This is like lots here. Not hide all these beautiful little cracks. And here, I lifted it because it could be because the leaf is old, so it the edges here are not as bright as they once were. Gonna take a little bit of the pale yellow, that crocus yellow, crocus. I don't want to put too much of the crocus yellow because that's our highlight on top of the vein. You see some area the paint is very thick. I'm not really trying to recreate that thick paint. I'm just trying to hide a bit of the dark so that we have a dimension. It's starting to look pretty good. And I'm just keep going like that. Might be tedious, but I like it. I don't find anything tedious. Okay, a little bit here again. See, I'm not working with I shouldn't say high quality paints. It's not artist paint. Kind of using craft paint, Delta, but not on the artist grade, because a lot of the people that paint with me, we have folk art, which, you know, we can only find at Walmart. So I have some folk art, I have some Delta, I have some Americana, and I do have the artist paint, but I don't use it in a project like this when I do my tutorials, because I want the people to be able, you know, to use their paint. So I'm painting with the paints they have. So, and those paints are not thick as the artist paint. So you kind of, you know, forever putting on your paint. If you have artist paint, well, you know, it's going to take you much less time to do this. There's different grades also of artist paint. There's the student paint, and I have like the professional paints. And you don't have to buy all of it. You buy the main colors, and then you can mix, which makes it nice. Okay, I think we're getting to the point where, you know, we've hidden quite a bit of stuff. This vein here is a little bit kind of in your face. Actually, they're in your face because I made it on purpose so that you could see them. So I might as well not erase them too much, because then you won't see them. Okay, so now we're going to go do the highlight. No, actually the highlight, I should do that at the end. So we're going to take the terracotta, or you can take terracotta, or you can take raw sienna. One or the other. On my painting, I took terracotta, because I want to do some of the shading before we go further. So then I'm gonna know what I need to do. And this I want wet brush. I'm gonna take the excess off, and I'm just gonna, maybe I need to dry, and I'm just gonna brush it in a circle like that, very, very lightly, barely touching. So this is gonna age it. Maybe I'm doing this too fast because I need to hide the cracks. Okay. I skipped a step, guys. What we're gonna do actually is do a wash. Sorry about that. I went a little bit too fast. So I'm gonna do a wash. And my wash is very watery. And I'm gonna go over my cracks. And what that's going to do is fill up the crack. You're still going to see them, but they won't be as dark. And if you like them dark, then leave them dark. Me, I found that it was just too much. When I did this little painting, I thought it was just, all I could see was that. So I preferred putting a wash here, and it's toning down those especially the big cracks. And I'm going into the saffron yellow, like the medium yellow, this one here. You could also go into the gold, whichever one you want to go into to hide these cracks. And actually, I think I will go a little bit with the gold. It's going to tone down and see, it's just toning down without losing the cracks. Because some are very, where it was thicker. I'm going to show you up close. Look what it does. It's there, but not as dark as these, okay? And this one here, well, we're not done with that one yet. So again, with a bit of water. There's water on my palette, so I didn't dip back into my water bowl. So it's really toning it down. I like it. So water takes in here. I'm gonna come. It doesn't matter if I went and put this color on. I'm gonna do it again. See, so there, I really like that. You make yours, if you like it dark, you make yours dark. Leave yours dark. It's really a matter of choice. And it can even go over the veins a bit. Tone down the veins, because my veins are dark to show you. But I'm going to tone them down a little bit. I'm going back into the gold and the saffron. And I'm just going to go over here. I'm toning down these veins at the same time. I'm not going to tone down the main vein because we're going to highlight it. So it's going to be nice to have that darkness under. It's going to create our shadow. So I'm toning down, still, going into my water and into the paint. Then I'll show you up close what it did without losing any of the veins. And if I find them too dark, I'm going to do a second pass. Dry it and do a second pass. Because it seems like at some places it seems that the paint doesn't even go in the crack. So here we go. Here it seems like it didn't go in the crack at all. Or it's still cracking maybe. Or I skipped that one completely. Okay. There's lots of water on my palette here. So I'm just going to not put my brush in water again. Tone down the veins. Okay. Keep coming here. Toning down. Here I said I'm going to do a knot, like a hole. You can do as many spots as you want. And that's just one of the last things that we do. I'm going to tone it down a bit. Not losing any of the cracks, like I said. And here there was barely any cracks. So it's okay, even if there's not any cracks, we still can play with it. And okay. Here it's pretty toned down. Here it's a little bit dark. I'm just going to go back there. And I'm going to tone it down a little bit more. I like that much, much, much better. Because I don't want to just see those cracks when I look at it. I want to see all of it. I want to see the shadows. I want to see everything. So look at it now. You still see all the cracks, but they're just a little bit toned down. Okay? So now I'm going to dry this. Then we're going to start putting the old, make it look old, and I will be back. Okay, so I've dried it, and I find the cracks are still in my face a lot, but I'm gonna work on the knots, on the holes and that, and then I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna put more of the yellow. You can put as much as you want. So there's this hole here. So just gonna go in. I'm gonna try to keep some of the yellow. If I can't, I'll just go back and put it back on. So there's one, and I can put some, just a tiny little one anywhere. There was something here, there, and it's just wherever, you know, your eye catches. There was something here that I wanted to do, and it doesn't have to be the same shape. You know, it's just deteriorating in different ways, different areas. This brush might get too big soon, fast, if I want to do the little ones. Yeah. Maybe this one. I said I would like this one. Actually, I think I'm also running out of the brown. I'm gonna put that in water. I'm gonna take just a round brush. Sorry, the other one I had was a filbert, a small filbert. Kind of what was right there, so I used that. Okay. And you know, it's not gonna be, I'm not looking for perfect dots, or the less perfect they are, the better it's gonna look. Then you want some a little bit everywhere. And you can put as much as you like. There's no rule here of how many you should put. The more you put, the older your leaf is gonna look. I'm just gonna put a tad of black in my orange and just do a little mix. Getting my brown again. I'm running it, this model. Oh, I know the cap is blocked. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix with my brush to recreate that orange, that brown, I mean. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna try to make the same brown as I had for the background. Okay, putting more orange as I need it. Okay. So now some of the spots, I'm gonna come back because I didn't have much paint left and I was just using what was left. So my dots are not very dark. Some could be on the vein and they're crackly, right? So I'll put some here. Could be a little bit bigger. Some here. I find the more you put, the better it looks, the older it looks. One thing that I want to go do is here. That might be too wide of a brush. I'm just going to use my little quarter angle brush. Can be any brush, doesn't have to be angle. I'm going to turn this like that. So, okay, like this. So what I want to do is this point is underwater. So I'm just going to take my brown and just come like that. And then just kind of go like that. And leave the point like that. Kind of dark. So I'm just going to make it less dark. And going in like that. Because it's see-through, right? It's just under the water. So there's the end, the tip underwater. Now, okay. I'm just gonna take back my little, this must be like a 0 round brush because it's very small. Just gonna go put some here and there. I kind of like it that almost every part has a hole in it or some deterioration. I think I'm going to make something a bit bigger on this side. See, I'm doing them not even. Nothing is even. It's all crooked and cracked, and because the leaf is deteriorating and it's like paper, so it's just cracking. So that's what we're seeing. Why it's all full of cracks like that, like all these lines. Okay. So now I'm going to take the terracotta and I'm going to put a bit of terracotta around the edges. Because the leaf is deteriorating, so it's kind of doing different colors. And I put some in here too. When I go touch it, it's just to not make it as dark. Even some spots might have that right in the middle. And here, we're going to put some here. I'm going to reload it, a tad of water in my brush. Every little thing that we do will enhance and add depthness to the painting. And I'm just going kind of over, around. I'll show you. So I'm kind of going over and kind of tapping it. You see what it does? That's what I'm doing. So it's aging my leaf even more. So again, I put a little bit of water and went back into my paint. And some I'll put it in, and I'm going over all of the holes. And then I'm going to take back my my gold or whichever, the saffron or whatever. I just want to go put you know, some little lines kind of thing. You know, that the leaf is not, this is not completely a whole yet. It's still attached. So I'm going to show you close. Look what I did. Just little lines like that, showing that there's still a little pieces of leaf, but I'm not doing that everywhere. Okay, so now we're going to come, I'm going to put more yellow here because I don't like it that way. So a bit of water in my brush, maybe not as, like, it's going to be watery a little bit. And I'm taking the gold and the saffron again, and I'm going to come fast. I just want to hide a little bit of that dark brown in the ground, in the background, because some areas I find it's too much for my eyes. Maybe you don't see it though, because sometimes the camera doesn't show what I see. My new camera will though. You'll be able to see everything, because I'm going to have a zoom on that thing. So excited. Can't wait to get that. Videos are going to be much, much nicer. Color is going to be nicer. Because when I did the lady walking in the storm, when I looked at the video, you guys didn't see all the dimension of the jacket. It only showed like ending up being just like one color, and it wasn't like that at all. It was full of different colors. Like when I did the grisaille under, it's as if you couldn't see it anymore, but actually you could. I could see it. You guys didn't. So that's what I find with just my cell phone. See, now I'm just making things less dark. And I'm just going to go into the saffron. That's that middle gold, that middle yellow. No, it needs to have that gold too. Okay, well, that's what you're going to get then. Okay. I'm starting to like this much, much better. Because it was as if, like, it could have been almost at the skeleton phase, but that's not what I'm trying to achieve. Okay. See, and that way I'm still hiding a little bit of the cracks without completely getting rid of them. And like I said, if you like having those cracks, I'm trying not to go over my holes. I don't want to hide them. And actually, yeah, they could be a little less visible. Just a tiny. Here, just like that. Okay. A little bit more over here. And I'm not hiding my cracks. I'm just toning them down. I'm still at that phase. Okay, that is much, 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 much better. Okay, now I'm gonna go do the aging, and then we're gonna put the highlights on the veins. And then we're gonna go put highlights in the water using another product. Yoo-hoo! So now I'm putting a bit of water in my brush with the terracotta, taking the excess off because I don't want like a big blotch. And barely touching. I'm going to turn in circles. And I'm not staying in the same spot because I don't want, you know, big blotches. And even it's a bit wet. And over here. Doesn't have to be everywhere. And I'm going in circles. I just put paint there so it might not, you might have to dry. Put some over here. The tip, just a little bit of the tip here. And then we're going to go put our brown on top of that to age it even more. So I'm going like that. So I haven't reloaded yet, but now I have to. So there's already water on my palette with the terracotta. So we're doing it with the terracotta, going lightly. Oh, a bit more. Okay, so I'm going to put water in my brush, a tad of water, not a lot of water. And I'm taking the excess off because I really don't want a big blob. And very, very gently press. Because as you can see, it's putting a lot on. You're going to put it where you want it to look old. I'm going to put it like that. And a bit in here. And over here. Okay, so it's already starting to look old. Just doing that. Okay, I'm going to dry this and I will be back. Wow, it took like 2 seconds to dry. Now a little bit of water in my brush again. This time I'm going back into the brown mixture. And I'm going to take a bit off because this, I really want it to be, you know, not too much. And I'm going over. It doesn't have to be over everywhere. And I have too much water. And barely touching. I'm going in circles because it's visually looks better and it's softer going in circles. Okay, and I can go faster to do this. And I'm starting, and I'm using an old brush to do this because that's really hard on your bristles when you do that. I can ruin one of your brushes because we're pressing hard and turning in a circle. All the hairs lift. A bit of water, go back into my brown, take the excess off a lot. It's almost like dry brushing that I'm doing. And I'm barely pressing because now I know it's freshly loaded. And as you can hear, I'm pressing a little harder. I'd rather load a few times than taking a lot of paint and then just putting a big blob on it. And I'm going on my towel and I'm just taking the excess off and I'm barely touching again. Going back in this spot here because I find it wasn't enough for me. And you can age yours as much as you want. It's all about what you see. Okay, there's water here, so I'm just gonna dip in it and, you know, in the paint and not putting any excess water in my brush. And Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit more over here. So now I'm gonna dip in the water a bit because I didn't have enough. And I'm gonna go on my rag and just, take a lot of it out. A lot of it out. Then I'm just gonna come and add more. I can do a couple of layers if I want. It all depends on how much older I want it to look. And you gotta be careful because if you go over the spot that's wet, it might lift the paint that's under. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to go put the highlights on the veins, and I'm going to see if I need anything else. So I'm taking my little zero liner, and I'm going to go into the crocus yellow, the very light yellow that I took out at the beginning, and I'm just going to flip my canvas, and I'm going to show you. I'm just going over the veins like that. And it's just going to pop the veins. And a little bit of water in my brush might even go better. And like that. And I'm going to do that. And I can, like, my veins might be a little bit more apparent than yours because I want you to see what I'm doing. And on top of these, and I'm going to do that everywhere. So this gives me another dimension. And then I'm going to see, I think I'm going to add kind of like a highlight or something there. Okay. And I'm going fast, like I'm not staying in one spot fast. And I don't need to put it right to the bottom because the leaf is kind of curly kind of thing. So I'll see if I need to or not. Okay, so I'm kind of going over like that. It's just going to give our leaf another dimension. And a little bit here, and in the tip of the leaf, we see a little bit of highlight, a little kind of dot there. Okay, how am I gonna do that? Maybe this way. Okay, and I'm gonna do the highlight here. I'm going fast, like I'm not trying to be precise. Like it doesn't have to be like a steady line. It's actually probably gonna look more better if it's not perfect. Sometimes I'm pressing hard, sometimes I'm not. It's always on the top of the vein that we're doing the highlight. And I'm doing this. On that one. Just want to make sure that you guys see that. And it's the same thing I showed you over there. So it's, that's why I'm not kind of lifting. And now I think what I'm going to do is just reinforce this. Make it a little bit brighter. I could have done that. When I saw the other ones that I did at the bottom, they seem to be, and look at that. Okay. Now, actually, we're going to go do, I don't know, is it the stem? And the stem is like very watery. It's underwater. Okay, so it's not showing very much. I'm just pressing. that's pretty much it. We're gonna go do the middle vein. So I'm gonna start with the gold, and I'm gonna put it up like this so that I can do it properly. And I'm going pressing, and as I'm gonna go down, you're not gonna see it as much because I want dimension. So I want different. I don't want to go into the light color right away. So I also took a bit of the gold to do the vein. And I'm going back in my water at the same time. So it's kind of watery. And as I'm going down, it's going to get smaller. And barely any highlight here. Okay, so now I'm gonna right behind, I'll see what it does, a bit of water, and I'm going back into that crocus yellow, the very light yellow. As long as it's a light yellow, and I'm just gonna go touch it, not trying to hide the color I just put on. And you see it, sometimes you see it and other times you don't, the way the leaf is. I'm going to put more water in my brush and turn it on my palette. I'm going to come back here to make it a little bit more prominent. It's almost like I'm putting a second layer and I haven't even gone all the way down. And I'm going all the way down. Actually, right there. So now, that really pops. And this could be square. Okay. Here because it's not crackle, it kind of looks funny to me. So what I want to do is maybe take the mid yellow, the saffron yellow. I want to be careful here and maybe a little bit of the crocus yellow, just a tad. I'm going to mix them on the palette because I want more saffron than that. I'm going to see. I want to kind of put a little highlight. Not too much, actually, maybe just the saffron. And you see how I'm